they want to put a Band-Aid over. That's why I created that book, right? No more Band-Aids. Yeah, it's a lot of Band-Aids that I put on as a memoir. And I just was like, oh, trauma. Let's just drink and drug. Oh, let's have as many boyfriends. Let's go to clubs. Oh, self-healing. Oh, no, that was not even an option. It was all about limiting beliefs. It was all about, like all these places of like, everyone's out there to hurt me. You know what I mean? I never looked within and said, maybe you're the cause of it,
Hiya! Welcome to the Transform Your Future podcast. I'm your host, Eddie Isin. Each week I sit down with entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and high achievers as they identify areas I can improve on and guide me to further understand my self-improvement practice. Together, we look at practical applications, ways to improve current systems and processes, and stay focused on our missions. For more information on reinvention and personal growth, go to transformyourfuture.com. Our guest today is Rori Montali. She is an author, healer, and a craniosacral therapy specialist. Rori is a natural-born healer with innate abilities to sense trauma, disease, and unbalanced energies that trigger conflict, confusion, anxiety, fear, pain, and depression. Rori moves audiences from tears to cheers with her infectious energy as they embark upon a journey of reeling, feeling, and healing emotional trauma embedded in their physiological tissues of their minds, bodies, and souls. Rori is trained in craniosacral therapy, craniosacral SER, and dozens of other healing modalities. Rori guides audiences to attain a deeper connection with themselves and others through experiential exercises that elevate their state of mind. Rori makes the impossible possible. Her excitement, love, and energy are infectious. Her passion ignites desire for audiences to explore and discover the best versions of themselves. Excited. We've been having these conversations going back and forth. I think I'm going to learn a lot of good stuff from you today. Why don't you just go ahead and just introduce yourself and jump right in?
Hi, I'm Dr. Rori Montali. I am a humanitarian, and that means that I help a lot of people, not just in my own practice, but I help people that are not so fortunate to able to afford treatment. And I believe that everyone should have healing. So I'm a practitioner of craniosacral, massage therapist, and mainly just work on somatic emotional release to help people really heal from emotions and, not only physical. It's important to have that served.
What does that mean, somatic release?
Somatic is part of when we go to medical school, as there's this place where we have craniosacral, and it's like someone's rhythm that you actually treat through physical pain, or then we know that it's not pain, and then we go into a place of somatic, which is like emotional, where it's in the subconscious. And we know how to dialogue with that subconscious so someone can actually see what's going on, see their destructive cycle, maybe a certain limiting belief. And I believe that a lot of things are, it's called it's hidden in the DNA, because sometimes trauma or hurt or guilt or pain we suppress. And then we push through life and we're like, let's just get a new boyfriend. Let's get a new job. Let's have a baby. Let's let's start a podcast. Something's going to go right. Something in this place is going to go right. So we all like figure it out and we're all moving along on our timelines. But what we don't do is actually sit for a moment and actually have a moment with our subconscious is what's running our life. Conscious mind is what we're doing right now. We're having a conversation. I don't know what's next, but whatever's next, I'm going to go fly off. But if I took a moment, which I can share with you, and I stopped for a moment and I wanted to really not know the answer and really want to give the best of what I believe is the next question, I might stop and share. Okay, I'm going to show you how I would actually go to my subconscious to give you the answer that feels home to me, that feels real, that feels chills on my spine. That's when you know
Yeah.
you're in your subconscious, when you just know without knowing,
When
without
the
pulling
hair stands up, when your hair
back.
stands up on your arm.
Yeah. Or you get the chills like I just did down my spine.
Yeah.
It just went like a woo down my spine
Hmm.
right now because I love speaking about truth. Truth is the key to living a joyful life, being truthful to what you honor in yourself and what's coming truthful to self before you go on a blind date, before you go and start a new venture. You gotta go subconscious. Are you
Hmm.
with me? You don't know how to do it, then I teach you how to do it. It's not something you just learn on this talk. This is a lot of
Hmm.
processing, a lot of workshops
Hmm.
I do, a lot of times to learn how to be intuitive within self and how to actually use the tools and feel confident that your life is heard within self without all of the third parties. Your psychiatrist, your therapist, your mentor, your pastor, your
Your
rabbi,
mom.
your mom, who, like, everyone knows better than you. And you know what?
Hmm.
Once you get to know you and you know the answers, and you get it from like a place of like, yes, this is what I want to do for my birthday, not what everyone's not able to do,
Hmm.
then you can actually go with that flow. Like,
Hmm.
it's doing the work is what I want to say. So that's why they hire me all over the
Hmm.
world and on Zoom, and I fly over because they can't seem to have that little nugget, which I spent 22 years learning, 22 years, how to get close
Wow.
and hear my answers. Yeah, it's not around the block. You're going to get this. But I tend to like get people on my table, get to the answer. And then I like to teach people how to do it for entrepreneurs, for people that are not well, for younger kids, for people with dementia. Everyone can do this and
Hmm.
everyone can heal. Everyone.
Hmm. So, what would be some of the situations that I might be in that would be helpful for me to heal? Like, what kind of things are we talking about? Because you've mentioned a lot of different things. So if I suffer from pain and I have a lot of pain, physical pain that I have to deal with over and over again, is doing this work that you're talking about helpful for somebody like that who's in that situation?
Okay, so let's break this down for everyone to understand about what this talks about. So, this talk is that people need to be clear that I work with helping people out of pain, out of all chronic illness, all suffering emotionally, TMJ, problems with this, problems with brain concussions, spinal problems, anything to do with the word disease
Hmm.
or chronic or pain.
Hmm.
It's not that I fix the person. What my talent is as a practitioner, as cranial sacral, is that I know with all knowing where to stem from whatever is happening in that person's body. And that's a lot of years of studying, a lot of understanding cranial sacral. That's not what we're here to teach cranial sacral. But cranial sacral is where we can actually put someone in a still point, which is someone that could you just hold their head or their feet. And there's a way that we have a technique that simmers everything down to a still point. The nervous
Hmm.
system is like, whoa, we're in like a place where we're falling into a like a space of sleep, but you're really not sleeping, but you're
Hmm.
relaxed. And everyone's like, oh, is it like Reiki? It is zero like Reiki. It feels the same touch, light touch, but I'm moving
Hmm.
bones so slightly. tissue is unfolding, blood flow is flowing, oxygen is happening, and things are correcting itself with fascia, unwinding. So that way, then your body heals because we do lymphatic drainage. Then we might be doing a diaphragm, things that will help the lymphatic, things that would never be anything to do with massage because we're working on the muscle as massage. We
Mm.
are working on the entire body as a mechanism of saying, you have chronic pain in your neck. But when I work on you and I do it on Zoom with people in pain, I work with them in person. I can actually hold a still point and I'll know in my evaluation where your body wants to start healing.
Mm. Mm.
So then I can go to, let's say your neck hurts, and but somehow your body's screaming at me in my evaluation by your inner thigh or near your back of your knee. It happens so many times. And I'm working in that area. Then it's dragging me to the actual thread to maybe the upper rib cage. And then it's wrapping to the scapula, which is the back of the back of the shoulder.
Mhm.
And then it
Mhm.
maybe goes right there by the neck. So everyone's like, neck, neck. And then you have the chiropractors on the neck. Then you have all the, right? And then the acupuncture. It's like neck, neck, neck. So we go for the massage, we're like the neck, the acupuncture, the neck, the chiropractor neck, and then it's the craniosacral therapist. And she goes in and she sees where it needs to stem from the root cause of something that is your body needs the most attention in the layer it is. Okay. Someone comes in for neck, out of nowhere, it could be the unwinding of a knee up to the rib cage to the thing, and then it's
Mm.
released. And then how I know sometimes of the restriction is like there'll be a dense feeling, like no blood there, no life there. I can feel because that's what practitioners can do, is that's what we're trained to do. And what happens is like somehow something significant happens, a therapeutic pulse by the
Mhm.
time I'm finished, where I feel it's very subtle. And then you finally maybe can hear a heartbeat, feel a heartbeat, like a pulsing. And now you know something's significantly happening. The body's unwinding, the tissue's
Mm.
flowing away. Everything feels like there's this a deeper breath into the patient going out with them not even saying a word to me. You could just feel that something significant's happening. That's the
Mhm.
physical part. Then the patient comes a couple times, blah, blah, blah. We've been working on the same issue, let's say the neck. Okay, just as an example.
Mhm.
So maybe my friend Bob would say, Raw, my neck, we've done this a few times. I feel like I'm ready for somatic. Okay, great. I'll give them an assignment to go home sometimes of dialoguing of 4-part area of their life that they want to work on and give me a drawing. That's my
Mhm.
advanced people that have been
Mm.
working with me for a long time. Someone
Mm.
new, I might just get them on the table and just do the dialogue and work with something that's coming up. So
Mm.
somatic, now he comes in and he says, Well, I'm ready. We've been doing physical. It feels like it's getting better, but I feel like I'm holding something's I haven't shared with you. I'm like, okay, well, let's get on the table. So we're on the table, and it's not like psychotherapy where I'm actually speaking and I'm actually feeling the tissue, going in with whatever he had intentions to experience, with leaving it like to a place where let it all just show up the way it needs to.
Mm.
Let's not go in and make believe you see an image. Okay?
Mm.
Two parts of it. My advanced patients come in because they know my work of dialogue and imaging of the subconscious, is where they go home and they do a circle. Okay. And they're like, okay, I put them through this kind of meditation area where I put them in for a silent meditation guided. And then they at my office, and then they'll go, oh, do I, a limiting belief is on the left side. Okay. Do a picture of
Mm.
something that's a limiting belief. Okay.
Yes.
Do a picture of something in your finance area, like something that's coming through. If you see an image through my guided meditation, see something in relationships. Yeah.
Mhm.
See something in
Mhm.
relationships. And really, and in just different categories depending on who the patient is. I put the categories together because I know them by now. And then they go home. They're drawing a picture. And then they'll say, this is what I really want to work on when they give me the book. And they might say, I really want to work on the relationship picture. I go,
Mm.
okay, so now we just looked at the pictures that they want to show me. They get on the table and then they know they're trying to vision the picture, but then they have to let go in a still point. And then significantly enough, that picture can come alive and their subconscious can come in and deeper into a place of healing. Or sometimes it is completely not the picture that they came in with. And now they're in somatic and it's
Mm.
completely left field. Okay.
Mm.
So it's just a way to help people that don't know how to vision or see
Mm-hmm.
colors or see shapes or see, because they're resistant to seeing anything when they're in the state of, like, practitioner,
Yeah, yeah,
energy.
yeah.
So it's a way to help people go and do the work before the work happens. That way they can
Mm.
look at the picture and they can visualize where they want to go and then let go. You get it? And then
Yeah.
and either they're with the picture and they have some sort of guidance to flow with their subconscious, or B, it's they let that picture go and a different picture came in and we dialogue with that instead.
Mm.
So it's kind of like hypnosis, but I'm not hypnosing and putting you into a trance. My craniosacral of a still point allows the body to sizzle down to a place of, this is
Mm.
how it's supposed to feel to be in my body. Oh, this is how it's supposed to feel to be floating and feeling like this. And in that space where you're not on alcohol and drugs, you're in a place of not biohacking to tell you what to see or feel. You're just a place of, here I am. And here I am is where we do the work. It's
I,
amazing.
uh, listening to you, I'm just reminded. I read a book many years ago that the idea, the philosophy behind it was that we have um, things that are like emotional, like resentments, anger, hostility, whatever, towards people, places, and things, and those things then manifest in our physical bodies.
Yeah.
And like this book was a lot about cancer and how, so like, if you have a resentment to your mother, you'll get breast cancer in your left breast. If you have a resentment to your father, you get breast cancer in your right breast or something. I mean, I'm just saying the philosophy was, though, that overall that these
Yeah.
emotional things actually live in our physical bodies and cause physical disease and problems.
Oh, yeah.
That's
So that's
kind of,
somatic
that's,
emotional release. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
there.
exactly.
You know, it's not, it's there. And what I've seen significantly leave cancer on my table is them having a dialogue of cancer, having a dialogue of the
Mm.
resentment, having a dialogue with who that resentment was with, and then coming to a place of expression in the subconscious of what that person might really want to say in today's, like right now to you. And what do you want to say back? And
Mhm.
sometimes it's just you never said anything. And in this, you can only work in the subconscious on this. So it's why you need to really not do this consciously. What we do
Mm.
on pen and paper, right? Your resentment, what's your part, that's conscious mind.
Mm. Yeah.
It's not the
Yeah.
subconscious. Subconscious is like, oh. And then when it's the oh, it's the wow. And it's sometimes without words. Sometimes the body unfolds into like this opening
Mm.
of
Mm.
tissue. It's like a googling of like a sound, like when you're hungry. It's like a sound, like a wow. I see more. I feel light. I feel lighter. A lot of people say, "Oh my God," tears of, oh, joy or sadness or release. Now, a lot of people think they release through a lot of different modalities. Like they want to do the ayahuasca and they want to do this.
Mm.
That's all about opening and allowing to see truth. But we, as a practitioner, I believe in not having any substances, or I'm
Mm.
very holistic. And
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
truly believe that my profession is the thing that works because it's the hardest thing. And it's the thing that no one absolutely wants to do. Because when they
Mm.
get the answer, okay, it's devastating. And the answers are truthful to them. And they can't turn back. They can't rationalize it because they know with all knowing. So when it's in somatic and it's real and they get it and they're doing the work, it's all the work. And it's like, not like to scare people, but it's like when you know, it's important to know to grow. But it's also a place where people don't, they want to put a band-aid over. That's why I created that book, right? No more band-aids.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a lot of band-aids that I put on as a memoir. And I just was like, oh, trauma. Let's just drink and drug. Oh, let's have as
Mm.
many boyfriends. Let's go to clubs. Oh,
Mm.
self-healing. Oh, no, that was not even an option. It was all about limiting beliefs. It was all about, like all these places of like, everyone's out there to hurt me. You know what I mean? I
Mm.
never looked within and said, maybe you're the cause of it.
Mm.
So, yes, to answer your question in a very short way, I don't know any other way that you can do in this world where you can actually have a place to see something, have a dialogue with it, with your imagination, and actually see mountains break out of their way. And it's like in Moses land, right? Like I'm in the
Mm.
freedom of the freedom land, right? Like
Mm.
I cannot believe that was that simple. So simple to remove cancer. So many patients I've seen in the past,
Mm.
so many chronic illnesses that I was like, let's try somatic. They're like, okay, that's kind of out there, but I'm open to it. Ro, I trust you. Okay. Boom. They go back. Where's the tumor? Where's the this? Where's that? Because they had the relationship of why it's there. Does it need to be there? Having a conversation with it, getting really deep and
Mm.
dive of your disease. And then boom, it's like, oh, it was this that caused me to have that illness. Everything heals on its own. It's
Mm-hmm.
not the mindset, it's one part. But if you don't get your subconscious ready to believe it's possible, that the mind can't do. The mind is going with what your subconscious is saying. I have
Right.
this, I am that, I am this, I am that. It's
Exactly.
so common, but so easy. And yet, this is my mission in life, letting everyone know about there's a solution.
Yeah, I read another great book I read years ago was 8 Weeks to Optimal Health by Dr. Andrew Weil. I read other books of him, but anyway, at that time, that book introduced me to the idea that what you're talking about, that the body is actually designed to heal itself.
Yeah.
We are healing machines. We just have to be put in that right state for the healing to happen. That's interesting. Yeah, more people
Well,
should
then I
understand
have to
that.
tell you a little woo woo science behind it because it's not
Okay.
just subconscious. There
Okay.
is
Okay.
consciousness, there's lower consciousness, and there's a higher consciousness of what level you need to be at in order for you to even go any to the place of healing. Like believing you're going to heal if you're in a lower consciousness and having some sort of thoughts deep down of doubt and fear, you're not raising the vibration of joy and love.
Mm.
When you're in a lower consciousness of 200, 150, depression, anxiety, but you're like in that space and you're saying to myself, I can heal, it raises the bar a little bit for even going there in that depression to say, I'm going to heal, right? But then
Mm-hmm.
you have to go
Mm-hmm.
out in the world and fake it till you make it. Look everyone and just fake it till you make it. Everyone's joy,
Mm-hmm.
everyone's happy. I'm happy. Life couldn't get any better. What's going on? Could this day get any better than this day? Oh my God, life is good. even if you're like here, you gotta fake it to raise the vibration, right? Then the vibration's here, right? Even if you're faking it, even if you're not feeling it. And then you go, oh, what would it be like that it's, you know, everyone is out there to love me. I love everyone. I wish all of the people that were doing mistakes and harm and blame, oh my God, I'm totally love them. They're the greatest things. Oh, I wish them the best. Everything's okay. Why would I want to waste any more illness in my body? And then it's another level. Okay. So there's these levels
Mm.
where you have to raise your consciousness. Now, if you want to just do a workout, you want to go for a long walk and just train your mind like your body and listen to whatever you got to do to shift that. Then from that space of consciousness is where you can hop on my table. Because what's happening is that people are so resistant to for the hidden gems of the DNA of the what's causing what's I need my intuition. I want to know if this is the right thing, wrong thing, what thing.
Yeah.
So we raise the consciousness. That's what we teach on that. And we also just say, okay, if you can't, let's work where you're at. But to get them on the table, to get them to do the work, I must do a 15-minute discovery call. I
Mm.
must encourage that soul that doesn't see the light to hop on to see anything. They're ready.
Yeah.
They're in the death zone. They're in
Yeah.
the black zone. They're the ones that are just at their wits and they can't handle the pain. It's so torturous. So those people, the ones that are chronic, it's important to raise a little bit. As before I came here, I saw someone on the street, by the way. He looked down, he looked somber. But 2-3 weeks ago, he on the same block, I just saw him on the way up into my office. And he helped me. Took a walk with me, asked me to speak somewhere, to support on a Sunday, and he asked me to help out. And then I just saw him. I said, his consciousness is at a low point. He was at a high point. So we always switch out. Who's at a high point? Who's at a low point? Who can help? Who can't? Two people are never at the same level. So it's amazing. I got to share that with you today. And his eyes were down. He was in black. He just looked like, and I felt I'm excited for this day. Life couldn't be any better. And I was present to see him. And I obviously did not go into I'm in the rush state, which I generally was to get on this podcast, but I stopped and I put my bags down. I said, you were there for me the other day. You know what? Love to just do something. I want to raise your vibration a little bit. Can I raise your? I don't need to go into prayer. I don't need to. Can I? And by the third minute, it was only 3 minutes with this man. I'm talking no face down. Okay, tired looking, looks like he was hit by a truck. A smile, a dimple. I saw his teeth. I saw his eyes light up. I go, now that's the space to walk the rest of the block. See the trees. See everyone you can. If you can't, because you're in that funk, and look in the eye, just do what you can in your mind. Don't even have to project outside to do for anyone else in this state. Just in your heart and your mind. Just think how everyone is so loved on this street and everyone that walks by, blessing them for the most amazing day, because your day just got shifted, right? And he goes, yeah, okay, well, you don't need to share it and be over the top if you're depressed and having that low vibration, but you want it to keep raising. I raised it a little. Now I got to leave you alone. I can't be with you 24/7. Now it's your part to stay in the frequency, right? Then stay in the vibration. And for the depressed and for the anxiety, I don't ask them to go and look in people's eyes and open the door, and because it's a place where they could just start with the heart meets the mind to think. Then when we're in that space and I see him again and he's smiling and not in that space and he's in a little bit of a higher conscious, but not at the best, Not the like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel so good, everything's happening to me,
Right.
everything's unfolding. Then you can do the opening the door and
Mm-hmm.
do the act of service. And that raises even more when you do that, when you're not
Mm.
thinking of self, 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 and you really genuinely stop the inconvenience of stopping and
Mm.
saying, you know what, I had that little thing in my car, but I already walked 2 blocks. But now I feel like I'm being told to do something. And then the inconvenience happens. But then when you stop and you go, I'll be inconvenienced, and you don't pout it, you just go, you take an extra 5. That raised enough vibration. From that space, anything can happen for anyone.
Mm.
All healing, everything, possibility, endless.
Mm.
That's it. That's how I feel. That's what I know. And that's it. That's it. Sorry so much that we're going on and on. These people are like,
No, it's
what?
okay. I'm just
I'm
curious.
hoping someone gets a healing from this. I'm hoping
Yeah,
someone gets this and goes, oh my
yeah.
God, I'm going to do that today. Oh, okay. And see the magic and come back and go, wow, not Rory gave me the medicine. You did it. I
Yeah.
gave you a little
Oh,
sample.
when you were talking earlier, you mentioned about people are resistive. They're resistant. Is that because of their ego that they're resistant, or fear? What is the resistance from that people resist really looking at themselves in that way, looking at their subconscious and looking at how
Well,
they
that's hard to
visualize?
say in the sense of
Mm,
like what generally everybody is not everything in the sense of resistance. What I've
mm,
come to believe and seen in the practice, it's hidden because it was suppressed. Remember, I was saying, or it's the
yeah.
unknown that this incident is tied to this pattern for
Mm-hmm.
this situation that I'm dealing with. It's tying things together where it makes sense to that person only. Does not have to make
Ah.
zero sense to the story to me. My job is to follow who's talking now? Oh, grandma, what is grandma saying to you? Grandma saying this. Oh, what do you want to say to grandma? Oh, what are you going to say to grandma? Oh, what are you going to say to grandma? I am not putting words in. I'm not telling them I
Mm-hmm.
see a spirit from
Mm-hmm.
heaven. I am working with
Mm.
whatever they have. Now, when it just says, oh, I see nothing. Oh, great. So let's just be with that. Okay, there's nothing there. Okay, great. So let's just stay where we are now. Let me know if there's anything coming up for you. So we'll go back into craniosacral. That's resistance. Okay.
Mm.
Then we go back, we go into a place. And maybe when I feel the rhythm goes off, I'm like, oh, well, tell me a little bit what's going on right now. Boom. I know when I can do that. I'm good at that. And then they might say, oh, I see purple. Oh, what does purple want to say? What is what do you want to say to purple? Oh. And then they just go, oh, and they're somewhere else now. Okay. And I allow them to bask into that and be in the purple
Mm.
because that was significant because did you see how it just went? That's their cranial
Mm-hmm.
rhythm. So it's not
Mm.
for me to start dialoguing any longer till their rhythm comes back on. Oh, okay. Tell me what's going on now. And that's how you work with it. Resistance
I don't want to be this reason I asked the question is I don't want to resist, the process for myself. That's why I asked about resistance. I want to make sure I'm not resisting it. I want to go with it.
can't help resistance. That's when it's hidden in the DNA, and that's when you have practitioners like me to overcome and
Mm.
try to guide and to.
Like it's natural.
But I can't teach all that. Yeah, yeah. This
Yeah.
is years of knowing how to work with the patient doing it. I
Mm-hmm.
can't give those tips because no one's going to do this in their space of resistance alone. Resistance
Mm-hmm.
needs an actual person to guide. That's why we have jobs. That's why we have business. We help people. The resistant is resistant, but it's not like it's not possible to
Mm-hmm.
overcome or to view.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to know when it's something coming through.
Yeah.
It's also the energy of the what you create for myself for the patient. Like a patient, if they don't know what frequency is and they don't know how to be a healer and get them into a best state of like energy, that's when you can look at the resistance. You see, you got to see, and then when it's nothing there, they can't guide themselves unless they take, unless they're taking courses with me and understanding how to do this
Mm,
on a daily basis.
mm-hmm,
Like I
mm-hmm,
wouldn't even be like, okay, I'm here, and then I wind it down. I'm not going to know how to pull
mm-hmm,
that out. That's why I have people work on me.
mm.
There's
I
so much you can do
see.
so
You
much
need a
on your
guide.
own.
You need a guide. I got it
Well, you
now.
don't need anything. You could do it yourself, and then if there's resistance, that's where I want to. Like I'm not sure if I, no matter how much work I'm doing with myself, there's resistance, there's
Mm,
confusion, there's the unknown, there's fear and doubt. All of it. It could be awareness,
mm-hmm,
but the best teachers for me are ones that are saying the right questions, knowing when it's the right time,
mm-hmm,
allowing me to know that they are confident in feeling my rhythm.
mm,
That is so important to have someone on your side of the street.
mm-hmm,
So when I meet with people, it's like meeting their soul. When I work with them, it's like we're friends for life. Like the soul. It's like I went into your place where many people cannot go. It's so beautiful. It is
mm-hmm,
so beautiful to be that intimate. That's why I came out with the 13 pathways of intimacy and connection,
mm. Yeah.
because it's one thing to heal, it's one thing to be, but then it's like the thing I needed the most in my life was connection with others. It was the thing from my trauma from childhood that allowed me to feel everything. I'm alone. I feel better alone. I like being alone. I would be with a certain friend or a family member or so forth, and it would just feel that it was just friction, or I can't
Mm,
communicate, or I don't know how to listen, or I don't know how to surrender, or I don't know what my desires are, and I don't know where to my boundaries. So 13 pathways was a series of little 13 videos of 13 ways of intimacy to have in life. And then it's activities that you get to
mm.
practice, like with a lover, with your pet, Serenity, my doggie, she's my pet, with coworkers. How can you be
Mm,
professional with your coworker, right?
mhm,
So that's how I unfolded. It's it's lovely to talk about intimacy. It's great. I've been teaching on stages and people and groups, and I love when people look left eye to left eye. There is so much connection and vulnerability that brings healing also. Yeah, so I love always doing what you love, what you need the most,
mhm,
and then give it to the world no matter what it looks like,
mm.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I believe that. Thinking about this, talking about the intimacy, I certainly want to discuss that a little bit more if you're open to that. You had written to me some stuff, and I was just looking through it, and you wrote about connection is about raising the vibration of oxytocin and orgasmic state, and
For
that
sure.
there might be some
Yeah.
uh, guilt or shame or something behind that that stops you from doing it, but that it's something beautiful. You want to talk a little bit about that?
What is the question around it
So
that you have?
you wrote about teaching intimacy and connection, right? Due to the a level of energy, and you talked about that the connection's about raising the vibration of oxytocin and an orgasmic state, right? Which sounds like
Love
wonderful
that.
stuff.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great thing. Uh, so,
Well, I've been
uh,
living in that for 15 years doing that as a practice. Raising the vibration. Oxytocin is one of the love chemicals. And Our orgasmic state is from the state of the oxytocin to be released in the
Mm,
chemical, like hugging a dog, hugging your grandmother, loving your friends, having intimacy, holding hands with your partner, love with your partner, getting a new job, all of that. Like the love, it's the love chemical. Okay.
mm,
And if you just think you're in love or feel you're in love, or not actually out externally doing the love, but feeling the love, there's
mm-hmm,
something that happens that it's a release. Also, obviously, having orgasmic states as well is another euphoric, but we all know that. And we go, oh, if we had that, then we feel euphoric, or maybe for something, not for all, right? But
mm,
the state of that is where you're lit up, your soul is lit up.
right.
And it's another place of raising the bar. Yeah. Thanks for sharing about that. I already
Yeah.
feel a
So,
little bit of
but I know you mentioned something about that the shift in
yeah.
physiology takes seconds, but you mentioned something about sometimes people have shame or blame or embarrassment or
Mhm.
feel restrictions in their belief systems
Yeah,
around
they're going to judge me
sexuality.
for just even speaking on this level. Like, what is she talking about? What do you mean? What it is like there's this, it's not a table conversation piece. It's a
Mm,
very daring Me Too movement. It's all of that of shame and guilt of feeling pleasure.
mm-hmm,
Shame and jail to feel pleasure. And pleasure in the world of intimacy is like calling me 3 a.m. and telling me all your fears and doubts, not having intimacy in bed with me. That's
mm,
my form of intimacy. So we have to change this place of fear and doubt, guilt and shame over using the word oxytocin, even using the word orgasmic state. I say
mm,
orgasmic state, which no one really has that in the dictionary one out, but it's a state of euphoria. It's a state of like ecstasy,
mm-hmm.
right? And shifting
I
the
identify.
physiology.
I identify what you're saying. Absolutely, 100%. I mean, I have
Yeah, and the
felt that.
shifting, yeah, and shift the physiology is
Mm-hmm,
saying it's a mindset shift. When the brain is in a happy place and the brain is love, what's going on in this sac is that the mind that was just thinking and honking at the red light and doomed for whatever reason that was happening in the moment, if they can just shift into love, pet the dog that's on your right hand side and go, oh my god, I feel your love, little one, oh your love, and then I could just shift also. It's just something that is another way of shifting that you can't get to in exercise, which is the endorphin, right? I say, let's do more oxytocin and, orgasmic state ways of feeling loved, desired, and out there feeling sexy, right? Feeling the
yes.
world feels your vibe.
Well, I certainly see the benefits of having more intimacy in my relationships, maybe even more intimacy with myself, in my own self relationship, and certainly feeling the love. I know you have a course about this, the 13 pathways. Can you give me an example of one of the pathways and one of the themes?
Yeah, let me see which one I want to go into. Which is the one that I love the most? I love the spiritual of love. That's one
Mm-hmm.
of the pathways. I love the spiritual love because in your own life, there has to be a place where you have a connection with your soul, with your whatever you want to say, higher self, lower self, something greater than you.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like spiritual love is like when you're evolved in who you are and where you are in the world of your spiritual soul, is when you can connect with that other person and share spiritual of love. Where two people, if you notice in relationship and connection and into business, into family, it's like knowing where you are in your spiritual realm of life and where that person is in their spiritual love of life. Because
Mm-hmm.
you just got to tune into that to make that work. And there's a lot of steps involved in that, but it's a lot. We don't have the time to do that and
Mm-hmm.
step into a whole actual lesson. But
Mm-hmm.
that's just one of the pathways. And then there's exercises that you do with your coworker, your family members, your
Mm-hmm.
lover, and yourself. And there are little activities after you get the summary. And it's basically a coaching program. It's basically, you can do a 3 month program or you can do 9 months to a year. And basically, in the 3 months, you get about a few of those that you really are really wanting to work on in your life. And then I, coach you through that. And I offer the healing part of it, where I go into somatic to release any limiting beliefs in my coaching. So it's not just lecturing consciously like a normal coach. I'm more of a mentor of getting them out of stuckness of the areas that they are lacking. And you'd be surprised. A lot of people are like, I'm ready for love. But then I do love of intimacy, or I do mature love of one of the pathways. And it's like 5 phases of mature love. Like they're in the 5 phases of this relationship with their husband. Like they're married 20
Mm-hmm.
years. And then
Mm-hmm.
I find them, they're stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they get unstuck, because they want to work on certain things, and they do these exercises with their significant other, and we create, we create as an intimacy coach wonderful activities and ways so they can actually break through the barrier and not get divorced. So then I come and see them, or I have a session with them alone. I have a session on the Zoom. We go through the program. They actually get outcomes. So I teach a lot in groups, and
Mm-hmm.
then I teach individual couples, and then individual selves that are stuck.
Mm.
Yeah. The only thing I don't do is the doggies. I just keep them practitioners. Yeah, that's it.
So I'm just curious. I know you've had a great life and you've been involved in a lot of things. And you were a professional dancer for many years. You were an Ironman triathlete. I'm just curious, I'm just guessing that something got you interested in these topics and ideas that got you going down there. That is why you work in that field. I'm just curious, what was going on that you decided that this was very interesting and something that was calling you in some way?
Let me do the work now and tune in. That's a good question. Instead of just responding, I'm just going to take a moment if everyone just takes a few deep breaths. I'm going to ask the question, why did I go into these topics and these things? And you know what? Consciously, I don't know why. But what we can do is see what we can do with the subconscious. Maybe the subconscious knows, or maybe there's resistance. But I want
Mm,
to speak the truth, not just thinking it was this. Okay, so we'll do that exercise. So, what I saw, which is now my truth, I saw a microphone, but it had like two microphones. Weird. Like
mm,
one podcast microphone, but it had one microphone here, one microphone here, like
mm,
that. And it was like an image. And I
mm-hmm,
said, Image, what do you want to say to me? Because you want to express your voice. I said, Voice, what do you want to express back? Is that you wanted everyone to know by speaking and giving and doing the things I'm doing, help me get the justice to
mm,
forgive and forget what had happened to me, because there will never be a chance to
mm,
get to that person. So I can't believe that's why I do this. I didn't know that.
mm.
And I want this piece on the film too, because this was just
Yeah, yeah,
real time.
yeah,
Now there's tears in my eyes on it. So
yeah,
now I'm in a really, I could feel it in my heart. The reason
yes.
why I do this and write books and help people is that I get to have a voice to express. So there's a form of justice for me. I didn't
Mm-hmm,
even know this.
mm-hmm.
This is the real work in real time. I'm having a moment.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
great. Like
yeah.
now, when I'm on podcasts and I'm doing and I'm loving them, I thought I had a lot to share, but generally it was for me to heal, to have a moment. Now I'll go deeper in it, of course, but that was quick, right? That
Mm-hmm.
was pretty quick,
Yeah,
I would say, right? Quick.
yeah, 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 yeah. And I
Yeah.
identify. I mean, I feel
I
the
saw the
reason that
image. I don't know
I,
how to do that, but yeah.
yeah,
Ooh.
I identify
Wait.
with that. I mean, I feel the reason why I help people and I give back what was so freely given to me and what I've learned and my experiences is because that's how I keep it. Like if I didn't help other people, then like I'd lose it. Like I feel like I need to keep doing it. It's how I take care of
Why
myself.
don't you
And
ask your subconscious that?
mm,
Why don't you do the work right now in real time? Because mine was totally left field. I had
mm.
no idea. It tied into something when I was 6 years old
So like
to
I'm like
justice
so like
to
I'm
a
talking
microphone.
about yeah, so like
So close your eyes.
I'm talking about my belief right now instead of doing the work. That's what you're saying. Okay, I'll do
No, no,
it.
no. Just take a moment and really tune in. Make
Yeah.
sure that's
Mm-hmm.
it. So you close your eyes and you go deep down, dive 50 feet down below. And you can just feel that there's no noise, no sound. Taking deep breaths in and out, feeling you're relaxed, knowing you know the answers and all knowing. And what do you notice? Why do you? The reason why we don't want to use the word why, because you don't want to know why you're doing something. The questions you want to say is, what do you really want to tell me? You can say, why am not the word why. Show me an image, show me something.
Yes, I feel that I see an image of the sun. Yeah, it's very hot and powerful, and I feel that it gives me energy. Helping other people, it gives me energy. It
Ooh.
energizes me.
And where do you feel that in your body right now?
I feel it in my heart and then out from my heart, generating to my whole persona.
It's a little different from where you started earlier, right?
Yes, yes, it is. It's very different.
Right? We don't even want to go back to that one because that didn't even feel at home, right?
Right, right.
The,
No,
the thing why you do what
this
you
is the
do is
truth.
because
This
you
is the
get energy
truth.
from your son to do it. That's why you do it. You
Yes,
get energy.
yes, yes. That's amazing.
And I get it to do a voice. So the more I speak on things, the more that I feel like I don't give the power to something that was there that robbed and stole that I believed that did all that to me, robbed me and stole from my identity. That where I'm coming from a place now is I want to go back and do it one more time because I want to make sure, always want to make sure, because I was so quick because we're filming and see what image comes through now to seal it. So it was a picture of a foot moving forward. And I was doing some dialoguing until I get to my subconscious and
Mm,
the voice to do all that, to share for sure is a voice to give the information, right? To give it less pressure from the past. But what really sat home was that the connection I really do what I do is that it brings me closer to source. I feel
mm,
connected talking about these
mm,
high vibrational things.
mm-hmm,
It's really within self where you should be coming from a place of giving. I don't really care of necessarily of the outcomes when I give. But
mm-hmm,
when I saw the little foot moving forward, it was like this connection. So my voice helps me with the trauma, right? To bring it out, to eliminate justice. But then when I went deeper, because you can always go deeper, right? Because once you got the
mm-hmm,
sun, it gives you energy. You can always go deeper. So I'm saying
mm-hmm.
that's why I wanted to show you. It starts with this. It's not the only answer, if that makes sense. I
No,
then went again in again.
it makes total
Then I
sense.
went
Yeah.
again in, and then I'll let you go back and just to show people. Then you go back in, and
Yeah.
it was like this footprint. And it was like if I'm taking a step forward, it brings, and then I saw the vibrate, and it brings me in connection. It's all I heard is the word connection. And if you're in
Mm,
connection, you want to do more, you want to give more, you want to be everywhere, you want to provide, you want to give from a place because what you're doing is like the more I'm here with you, the more connected I feel. So why wouldn't I want to be here more? So
mm,
that's where I'll leave mine today.
mm-hmm,
Because what didn't sit home with me was the first layer was just my truth, why I'm on the microphone and doing. about the justice, but then it felt unsettling. Now that I got that out, and that's one of the layers of why or how or what we're doing. But then the truth of the higher vibration, which is what I was choosing to look for and see, was the connection that eliminated the justice because that was a lower vibration.
Mm.
So that's how you have to go, and like you can go in with this and you think that's it. You go deeper and deeper and deeper to the place where you just feel good. I cried over my first little one.
Mm.
That was still showing some trauma in the DNA of me
Mm.
in real time, expressing the sadness to it, right? No one needs to
Mhm.
know the story behind it. It's just, it was there.
Mm.
Then we justify and we go in and we go, well, ask the question, well, with all your stuff,
Mm.
what's the reasonings for these things?
Mhm.
And when it went into that vibration, it cried. In a moment, it felt like great, right? This is it. But then when I settled in with it, it didn't feel like that's the vibration that was the reason. The connection to source feels
Mm.
like, yes, I feel the source. Who wouldn't
Mm.
want to feel the source? So that is in real time the best I can give somebody in real time. Now let's go in back for you for a second. We'll tie this in
Mhm.
and see if there's something deeper. And just let's get you back 100,000 feet in
Mm.
and feeling heavy weight on your shoulders. Your eyes, you're relaxed. Your tongue is off the roof of your mouth. You can feel the five senses. You can hear, you can smell.
I have this image. It's like a giant heart beating, and I feel like I was given a gift, and this gift was that I was part of something bigger than myself. And ever since then, I just love people and being around people and talking to people and getting to know people. Um, because I just want to keep carrying that forward because I love it, because this is life, and this is the
Wow.
frequency that I live in, and
Mm.
that's what keeps driving me.
Oof,
Yeah.
so simple. The sun was all about the energy. You get the energy, you saw the heart, and now you love it.
Mm-hmm.
Now your subconscious is aware of the energy and love.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
simple.
Yes. As
Different
I
than just
train, when
saying,
I'd be training people in sales, and sometimes I would tell them, I would say, just listen to me a second. If you don't love people, you're probably in the wrong job trying to sell people, because it's going to come out in what you do. If you don't enjoy people, you don't enjoy getting to know people, right? You got to like that part. So it affects all things, is what I'm saying, right? If you don't really like people, you don't really like getting to know people, you don't really like sharing, with living things, that we're all connected, and think ideas like that, then obviously, there's like so much you maybe wouldn't succeed in life. But
now you
anyway,
have a
that's my
process. No, now you have
yeah,
a process of sales, and you
yeah,
can go to someone and go, okay, close your eyes and vision, loving people. Like that could be
yes,
their image or their picture that they go
exactly,
in with. And then they can
yeah,
go with, oh my God, what am I doing? I should be an accountant.
exactly,
The lights
exactly.
just went out. I think my patient's here in a few minutes.
Yeah, I know I've taken a lot of time, and I really
No, it's great.
appreciate
I
it.
just saw the light on. I think I don't know if they're coming in. Okay.
When is there anything that we haven't spoke about that you want to talk about? Like, I mean, I know I do want to ask you. So if anybody is interested in more, finding out more, and getting to know you a little bit better, so they can find out about your modalities and what you do in the healing that you do with people, how would they do that?
I think for your show, because you love so much, you do. And I really appreciate that love that you have. Just if I can give you the candle, like the calendar link, and then
Mm.
people can come and have a discovery. I would be
Oh,
glad to
that's great.
share that with someone and
Okay.
see if they're a good fit. Not everyone's a good fit. Not everyone is good for me, and they're not good for, I'm not good for them. But
Right.
a discovery is for 15 minutes
Absolutely.
and just see how I can support them. They can go on for a free gift for the desire of intimacy on my website, and they can see
Mm-hmm.
one of the pathways that I have a little segment on, and
Mm-hmm.
they can do the activities on one of the pathways. I give that for free. It's called Desire of Intimacy. And so that's a
Beautiful.
nice gift that I'm giving you today. It's on my website, and it's called Receive Your Free Gift. They'll download they'll open it up, and
Mm-hmm.
then they'll be able to see the activities. And then you can give them a calendar link. I can send that to you.
Yeah, I'll put it in
Do
the
you
show
want that now?
notes. Yeah. No, you can give it to me afterwards and I'll put it in the show notes.
I think my
That's
website and the
fantastic.
calendar link and the free gift is already on the website. So I think we're good. I think if I'm for
Perfect.
someone, it'll be magically in their feeling connected to hopefully a still point within their soul that says,
Mm-hmm.
I want to do something. I feel like she might be the one. I also ask the patients, I might not everyone does this. I'm not afraid to lose people
Mm-hmm.
or financially gain that. What I ask is, does it feel right? Ask yourselves. Not can I fix you?
Mm-hmm.
Could I do this work with Rory?
Mm-hmm.
Could I do
Mm-hmm.
this work with Rory? Ask your soul this. If your soul's like, yes, then you wouldn't hesitate. You just book. That's just how it is. And you're not
Right.
kind of getting to know someone. Can this person be the magic pill? You are the pill that gets the magic.
Mm-hmm.
And I am your guide that I can
Yes.
100% be there 100% through the journey, through my expertise of knowing how to follow it and to give you the best outcome. But I'm not responsible. I'm not trying to fix you. I am so neutral. I only follow what you actually bring me. And if you can bring me something, great. And if you can't, what we do in that place is we find significance together into a place of not pushing. We
Mm-hmm.
allow the body to go by layer and layer. We allow healing to happen when it's the time to happen. And if someone's saying, yes, it's time, and they did the work and asked, then they get on the Zoom or the call and we resolve. Let's move on. Let's make a difference.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's simple.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my gift. That's my love.
Well, Rory, I want to thank you so much. I'm so grateful that you took some time to spend with me. I feel like I've learned a lot more about you and the different processes that you go through, and you've given me a lot to think about. I appreciate you, and I hope you have an incredible rest of your day.
Yes, thank you so much. Thanks, everybody.
Love you.
And do the work. Do it. That's what I
Yes,
say.
ma'am.
Do it because what's the point? You have this one life. Why not live it the best? I love you. I mean it. I'm loving
Okay,
you
dear.
more if you do the work. Love you. Thank you, sweetheart.
For more information on reinvention and personal growth, go to transformyourfuture.com.